You're watching today's Homesteader channel here at Peaceful Valley Ranch in Cotopaxi, Colorado, starring yours truly, Johnny Jules. All right, Homesteader family, welcome back to this episode of Fireside Chat. On this episode, we're going to talk about life. And there's a very little bit of it. And we need to start thinking outside of the box. We really need to start thinking opposite of what we've been taught, what we've been told. And that's like we celebrate birth. And we're all excited when a baby's born, and we're all excited when we're growing up and everything like that. And it really isn't that exciting if you really think about it, because the second you're born is the second the countdown starts on your life. You know, as soon as you're born, you run such great odds of dying before you get to 100 years old. And if we think about life, you know, if we're lucky to get to 100 years, 100 years is next to nothing. I mean, if we look at the world and we look at life and what we're so-called taught and have learned, you know, when I was in high school, we were taught human civilization's only been around for 3,000 to 4,000 years. Well, now there's evidence out there that, you know, civilizations could go back millions of years because they found old axes and hammers and stuff like that, carbon dated, going so far back in history. So for us to live here on this planet for 100 years is a drop in the bucket. And so I want to ask you, when you were a little kid growing up, what made you happy? Think about it. What did you like doing as a kid? What activities made you the most happy, the most excited, the most content? What did you dream that you wanted to be when you grew up? Did you want to be a doctor? Did you want to live out in the wilderness? Did you want to live out on the beach? Did you want to be a fireman? What did you want to be? And that's the thing a lot of us say, you know, I've thought about it and I've never become what I wanted to become. Well, depending on how old you are right now, your time could be running out quick. So the things that make you happy, you should be doing. We're taught totally opposite of what we should be, and that is you've got to make money before you have happiness. And that's a lie we've been told our whole lives. And it's not our parents' fault. It's not our grandparents' fault, because it goes back and back and back. Through generation after generation after generation, we've been lied to, we've been taught, we've been told, you've got to make money, you've got to have a 2-story house, the white picket fence, the 2 cars, a boy and a girl, the whole 9 yards, you know, and it's ridiculous. You know, we're taught to grind our life away until we're at our old age. Then we go ahead and retire. And if we don't retire before we get sick or start decaying, then you basically retire, have a few years to yourself, roll over and die. If you even make it to retirement. And I really don't know what to say. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that I see all the time on Facebook and Instagram and things like that that have such a negative outlook on life. You know, they don't like life. They're upset. They're sad. They're mad. And what I tell people all the time is every second on this planet that you're mad, every second that you're sad, depressed, lonely, whatever the emotion is that is besides happiness and gratefulness and joyfulness, is a second you've passed, a second you've lost in this life, a second you will never get back. And like I said, when you think about it, we're here on this planet for such a short time. Why would you waste any bit of time? And I can relate in this story, and I know this story because when I was a little kid, I lived in a neighborhood where there's a house 100 feet to your left, 100 feet to your right, houses across the street from you, houses behind your house. I was in a regular neighborhood on the East Coast growing up. And there wasn't much in the world of acreage to go roam on. But luckily, down the street, past my cul-de-sac, down the road, quarter mile, half a mile, there were woods that did not have houses in it yet. And that was my getaway. I used to go run down in the woods. I would build forts with sticks, make teepee huts. I would go play in the polluted creek. And because I loved nature so much as a kid, you know, as I found trash and stuff like that in the creek beds, I would pull the trash out and try to make that little bit of woods in suburbia a little bit nicer, a little bit more nature-y, and a little bit cleaner. That was my happy spot. That was my happy place in life. And one of the things that destroyed me as a kid, seeing my world of nature and what made me happy being destroyed, was somebody took a hose and they drained their pool into that creek. And I went down there one day where I used to go fishing for, you know, small little fish, nothing more than about 12 inches. They all were dead. The fish were dead all over. The frogs were dead. The turtles were dead. And that's because somebody drained their pool and all that chlorine and all them chemicals went in and killed all of that nature that made me happy as a kid. And I remember I made my mom proud because I went and called, I think it was Department of Wildlife. I'm not 100% sure because it was so long ago and I was a kid. But they actually sent out rangers, they sent out nature ambulances and the whole 9 yards. And they collected the species that died. They did the testing. And they did an investigation and found out who it was that drained their pool because the hose was still going down to the creek. And it was like a mile, 2 miles up, way farther than a little kid's going to go hiking by himself. But I was able to put a stop to it, and that's what made me happy. So fast forward a few years, you know, I'm taught, oh, go into the military, be a police officer, do this, do that, it make you happy. I met with the recruiter for the Air Force. They showed me these videos that made me so excited about shooting guns, blowing stuff up. You know, just the fantasy dream of video games coming to real life on screen that it looks like you're going to be a part of. So I joined the military. It did not make me happy whatsoever. Got out the military, ran my own businesses, made money hand over fist. Had custom tuxedos. I had custom jackets. I took trips out to Vegas. Spent a lot of money in Cripple Creek, Colorado at the casinos there. Taking, you know, a dozen people out to dinners, going out to bars, partying, going out to the Waffle House early in the morning, covering bills, you know, spending $2-3 grand a night on a weekend, taking everybody out, just to find out when that money ran away, there was nobody in sight, nobody around. I had a very few true friends. And it just goes to show all those years of life I wasted chasing the dollar, trying to become rich, trying to become happy by buying it. It never worked. You know, when you have nice things, That's all you have. It's nice things. It's not feelings. It's materialistic. And it's just, it's crazy. I mean, when I was cleaning out my loft, I don't know if you've seen the video of me cleaning out the loft, getting Hummingbird here cleaned up so I can get moved over to the new place. But I found one of my jackets that, I mean, if you guys have watched my channel for any amount of time, you know I'm not materialistic anymore. The only materialistic thing that I'm really craving right now is Peaceful Valley Ranch, the 50 acres I'm in the process of buying. As soon as I can get my money, you know, I'm going into debt, $160,000 to buy this land, because that's what's making me happy. And a lot of you think that going in debt is a bad thing, and I'll agree, going in debt's a bad thing. But guess what? That $160,000 for my little bit of time left on this planet is worth being in debt to be able to enjoy my life, enjoy my animals, enjoy the scenery, and just be a happy person. I mean, there's nothing like sitting out there going for a hike on that land with the goats. Nothing like sitting at the table and chairs where the house is going to be and taking in the views of the snow-capped mountains and the eagles and the hawks and the big crows and buzzards that fly overhead, and watch the different colorizations and markings that the birds have underneath as they fly up above. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing. And for those of you stuck in materialistic world of needing fancy things, fancy cars, I'll be right back. I'm going to show you guys what I bought when I was making money hand over fist. And what I found in my loft that I still had bundled up along with my three-piece suits, my pinstripe suits, and everything else I wasted money on. That does no good for me now. It was just an attention getter when I was going out partying. It was an attention getter when I was going out to casinos. And it made me feel so big. But that was all the ego. That's the thing. Once those people are gone that aren't truly friends, the ego doesn't need anything. That's why I'm not clean shaved today. I didn't feel like shaving. That's why I'm still in my PJ pants. And that's why, I'm not all dialed up going out to look for a good time. But here you go. This is one of the things I spent a lot of money on. And you can see it's a full-size jacket. Goes all the way down. So when I was out and about, I had my hand pockets where I wanted them, and I could go out and really show off in a big, nice fur jacket. But like I said, this is something, what good does it do homesteading? What good does it do in the country? And I look back and I think, what got me to where I bought that jacket? What got me to where I spent that money? What made me make all the decisions that I made? And that is society. Society trains you that life will last forever, that life is made to waste, and that life is made to work until you're dead. So you can buy expensive things like that. So you can put on this facade of you being so wealthy, the facade of being so rich, and the facade of being enlightened, light, and everything else, when that's not the case. Just because people drive around in a Ferrari, just because somebody walks around in an expensive fur jacket, just because somebody is draped in gold or diamonds or jewelry, or has a McMansion, or owns 2,500 acres, it doesn't make them any happier unless they found their happiness. So that's something for you guys to think about, for you guys to ponder, to figure out, like I said, what did you want to do as a child? What made you happy in the beginning? Because what made you happy in the beginning is probably what would make you happy now. Because me going in the woods as a kid, me playing with animals as a kid, is where I am now as a big kid. At almost 31 years old next month, or this month by the time you see this video, I'll be 31 years old, playing in the woods, playing with animals, playing in the dirt, having fun just like I was as a child. And this is my true happiness. So I hope you find yours, and I hope you guys have a great day. I just want to take a moment and say thank you guys for watching my videos, for donating, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it, and it really means a lot to me. And remember, live happy, live free. That's the only way to be.